So I will be getting my equipment here soon, and we will have better quality video, and we will be having guests on. I've got things lined up. It's awesome. Like I said, I have just been getting some R&R, brothers and sisters, some rest and relaxation, and it feels good. But I want to talk about, just for a minute, uh, Vladimir Putin and something that Joel Skousen said that I might not agree with it. Well, I agree with about mostly what Joel has to say, and he's coming on again in 2 weeks. And I have other guests coming on, so you guys sit tight. Things are getting better. Things are getting, they're looking up. Uh, so, are you guys familiar with? Okay, so Vladimir Putin. Joel says Russia is still a threat. Uh, there is a Soviet Union still. It is the fake. So the early 90s. When did the British Wall? I'm sorry. When did the Berlin Wall come down? Was that 1990? 91? I can't remember. Was it 89, 90, or 91? It's out of my mind right now, but I have no notes right now. I'm speaking on the off the cuff and in the raw. So I don't mean I don't have clothes on. That's not what I mean when I say in the raw. But I don't know if I agree with Joel or not. Was it Joel said that this was that that the globalists might be doing something right as far as protecting Ukraine? Uh, I've been watching Katie Hopkins, listening to her and reading some of her stuff where she talks about, and I've heard her say, I've read things by her in the past, and then recently I heard her on a podcast where she mentions, sorry, uh, Vladimir as being not that evil of a man that the globalist community and the lockstep media in America and Britain has made you out to think he is. Now, I don't know if Katie knows that for sure. I don't know if that's absolutely true, but it starts to make sense. And then she says that Zelensky is the biggest puppet and the biggest Nazi, and there's more tyranny going on in the Ukraine under that government than there is under Vladimir Putin. And Putin is just trying to protect, like I thought before, like I mentioned to Joel Skousen, against the globalists, the Western uh, tyranny, the Western globalists coming in and wanting to take out or take over Russia and eventually China, getting them on board because they're not on board. And who else isn't on board? The Islamic community, the Arabs, the Arab nations. And who are we fighting right now? So I'm not saying one way or the other. Okay? I'm just giving you food for thought because think about it. How often do we as conservatives and constitutionalists talk about the media and how we don't believe the mainstream media? You could go back 10, 12 years and even further, way further. As soon as Vladimir Putin came to power, what has that same media been feeding us about Vladimir? Uh, like all the other things that they're feeding us, that he's evil, that he's not a good man, that he is the most evilest dictator in the world. Well, why do we believe that? But we don't believe a lot of the other things they say. And then you think, what is there? Is there an agenda there? Why don't they want us to believe if Vladimir Putin is not that way? I'm not saying he's like the most benevolent human being on the earth, and I'm not saying he's not uh, that he doesn't have to do things that are evil. Uh, I I'm not saying he's not a dictator, but just because you're a dictator doesn't mean you're completely an annihilist and a tyrant, if that makes sense. According to Katie Hopkins, he cares about his people. He cares about national. He's a nationalist, just like Donald Trump. He cares about Russia and he cares about the Russian people, and they're actually doing pretty good there. Uh, so, but what the main thing is, she made the comparison between the two, between what's going on, the side of uh, Zelensky and Ukraine and the agenda there, that he is a globalist puppet. And Vladimir's just like, no way. And he calls them Nazis. Now, I don't know if she's right, but she has a lot of interesting things to say. Katie Hopkins is somebody to listen to. I don't know if everything she says is right, but she's been banned from many different countries and places: Australia, Wales, South Africa. Uh, what else did she say? She kept going on and on, just name. Oh, she's locked out of using mainstream banking. She has to do things organically. She is uh, off. Oh, she's locked out of many social media platforms. In other words, I can't remember some of the. I think she's getting back on Twitter though. But things aren't always what we think they are, brothers and sisters. That's all I'm saying. As far as uh, who is who's in control and who isn't, and who's, for instance, with Russia, who's fighting with Russia and Ukraine? Who who are the good guys and who are the bad guys? Or if there are there any good guys and bad guys there? And is Joel right? Joel Skousen right? So anyway, it's just some food for thought, because we don't have. I just got through. Sorry, there's a lot of pauses because I sometimes they edit out these pauses, but I'm not doing it because I don't have that right now. But we don't have all the answers as far as do we have our three branches of government? I asked Joel Skousen that. He said no. We're under a globalist tyranny. We're the globalists have taken over. We we have fake philanthropists and autocrats that are paying off politicians to work for them. We have shadow governments, not and NGOs running this institution called America. Why does America continue to thrive? Because they're utilizing the military industrial complex, and we're still a very powerful nation. This is Rome. Could it be modern Rome? Joel says it's gone. The Constitution. Uh, I believe that McClintock was that his name? Yeah, that'll be on in a couple days. I had a really good talk with him, and that will be up soon. Um, Basically said something very similar. So remember, Joseph Smith said if the Constitution was to be saved, if Ezra Taft Benson said it would, but let's see what happens. Was Joseph Smith right, or were they both right? Can we come back to a constitutional America, or will it be saved when the Savior comes? Is it gone now, but at the beginning of the millennium, will it come back? Anyway, that's all I have to say. God bless. Check out Katie Hopkins.